you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was your Medal of Honor actions were kind of helped inspire the movie Forrest Gump, right?
It is in my Medal of Honor actions is what they're talking about in the movie Forrest Gump. We got to have a lunch with 5 of my enemy.
Really?
From the night that I earned this.
So what is it like getting to piece everything together from all these different perspectives?
Part of the reason why I'm doing much better in my soul today was because of me being able to go back to Vietnam.
They didn't bring you in to fight any more wars or anything? you didn't pick up an M16
Say hi to Eli. He's racially ambiguous. Brandon, his hair is fucking fabulous. Donut, a dark joke disposition. And there's a fat electrician. Welcome to Unsubscribe.
Hey, what's up?
We have a video game releasing on September 4th.
Unsub Studios.
That's right, we're a video game developer now.
Boom! Go add it to your wish list. Clean and then No Shadow Team. They've been crushing this. We are so excited to see everyone's response from it. The game is being so optimized that hopefully soon we can have it on your mobile phone. Just a real quick moment. This game has been in development for 6 years. At the 5-year mark, that's when they reached out to us. They wanted to work with a team or company that could help them produce this or finance it. They did go to us, and this is all possible because of all of you, and we are so thankful of that. And we are so thankful for them working years, 5 years on their own time without investing, and then giving us the opportunity to make this possible, getting them across that finish line without them rushing it. We have so much in the works for us. Playable characters, us, some amazing quests Boy gets to help design, multiplayer, and a really amazing experience. Go add it to your wish list. It comes out September 4th. We can't wait to see what y'all think of this. Unsub Studios.
We are a video game production company now.
It's what dreams are made of, and it's all because of you. Thank y'all.
3, 2, 1.
Hey-o.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed podcast. We're joined today by Eli Doubletap. Nick, the Fat Electrician, is in town. We have Sammy Davis, Medal of Honor recipient, Brandon Herrera, and myself, Donut Operator. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Look, Sam looks sharp today. Holy moly, Sammy. At breakfast, I was like, I underdressed. I got to switch from a t-shirt to...
You cheated.
I'm in work clothes.
Well, Sammy, you showed up to brunch. You walked up in that, and I thought Brandon was the sexiest person at brunch.
Thank you, I think.
Yeah, you took the cake, buddy.
You're going to have to fight off these boys, Sammy. Like, back.
No, Eli had a t-shirt on earlier, went back to his house and changed.
I know. I was like...
pretending like we wouldn't
And
notice.
you look nice.
Thank you. I had to, you were wearing the Medal of Honor today, and I was like, oh, yep, okay. We're super respectful today. We appreciate you dressing up for this and also coming out and being on the podcast. This is absolutely
Honored to be here with y'all. I'm proud of the job that y'all do.
Thank you.
Nick's the one that set this entire thing up. He was like, hey, got an idea.
Nick, why did you set this entire thing up?
Because it's Sammy Lee Davis. What do you mean? Somebody's like, I know how to get a hold of him. I was like, good. Give me the phone number. And we got it set up. I'm really excited. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was your Medal of Honor actions were kind of helped inspire the movie Forrest Gump, right?
It is in my Medal of Honor actions is what they're talking about in the movie Forrest Gump.
They've been overlaid his
and
face.
I know because we did a podcast with Gary Sinise earlier this year, and we were in his office. Obviously, he's got a ton of pictures, but one of the ones closest to his desk was you and him, and I pointed that out to everybody, and kind of that kind of got the ball rolling to me tracking you down to get you on the podcast.
I believe in Gary Sinise. I think he should be president of the United States.
I don't disagree.
He has the patriotism and the love in his heart that he's the kind of person we need.
He's awesome.
He's one of the most amazing
Yes.
gentlemen we have ever met, and he's just nothing but positivity. And
That's right.
we got lucky and ran into him at the just at the airport last month. I just by chance, Finn didn't realize it was him because Finn
Is that
said,
after VIR?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ben was like, no, that guy's too short. I was like, I don't think so. I just like ran up. I was like, Gary? And he's like, looked at me for a second. He's like, yes?
What airport were you at?
Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we just magically ran into him, and he was like, oh my God, podcast guy. I was like, that's my name. I'm fine with that.
To you, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He was with his family. They were going on some family vacation. So it was just awesome seeing him again.
But I didn't know about the bit about them superimposing Tom Hanks' face over your body.
Yes.
In the movie.
Yes.
I had no idea about that until I looked it up yesterday. Did they ask your permission?
They told me, as a Medal of Honor recipient, I am public domain.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that's how that works.
Yes, sir. And as long as they're using it properly, everything's good.
We're going to make so much T-shirts of you. I'm joking. We actually, so one thing we try to do with every Medal of Honor recipient that does come out, or I mean even the World War II, any veterans has just went above and beyond and done what you guys have done, made the sacrifices you have done. We always try to get you guys gifts. It's like one thing when we start one of the episodes. So thank God you're a watch guy.
Yeah, we're not outdoing his current watch. I hate to break it to you.
No, 100%.
He's that's a watch you can't just get.
So we got you a Hamilton because they've been doing watches in the United States, and Illinois I think is where they started in the States, and they provided the time watches for the naval ships during World War II. And that one is a good
Also, we're just not going to let you get away with saying Illinois.
Illinois. And then to the missus, if you want to come get yours, we got you a gift too.
Dixie.
Dixie,
Get your beautiful butt over here and take this watch.
We have his amazing wife here joining us as well.
Any side, whatever. If you want to be on camera, you don't have to come on camera if you don't want to. You let us know.
Of course I want to be on camera.
Get over here.
I do.
We got you one of those. I wasn't
That's
sure.
why I married him, so I get gifts. Oh, this is beautiful.
We weren't sure if you wanted.
Whoa.
Oh.
This is beautiful, yes.
Hopefully you
Let me
both
see
want
yours, Sam. Oh my gosh. Oh, mine's better. Okay.
We're very military on his.
Nice. Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Thank y'all for coming down. You both are amazing. It's been an absolute pleasure, and the community makes this a possibility to do things like this. So thank y'all so freaking much.
It's an honor to be here with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the honor is entirely ours, we promise you.
And now we got to just ask you questions for the next hour.
Yeah, we get to grill you for an hour,
And I will
Sammy.
answer any question you have,
Let's go.
except where my secret fishing hole is. And I will take you there, but I'll have to blindfold you.
If the price is right, I'll tell you.
We already gave you a watch.
This is like, I got it. And if you go to any watch, especially Lee Michaels today, or when you get back home, they'll adjust it for you and get it all taken care of for you. You're very welcome. Least we could do for y'all. Now the questions.
So
begin.
I have questions.
Yes, sir.
You worked a lot of jobs when you were a kid.
Yes, sir.
How old were you when you first started doing manual labor jobs?
12 years old.
12? What was your first one?
Mowing yards.
Okay.
But
I mean-
back then, I could make a lot of money mowing yards. I could get 50 cents for mowing a yard. Now, back then, that was wow.
That Bill Gates money.
So it ramped up pretty quick though, because I mean you were a lumberjack. You did
Yes, sir.
some, I don't know if oil rigging is the right word, but you did some well digging.
Oh, definitely.
What like how old were you when you started doing that stuff? Because I mean that's more associated.
I
with,
was 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
Lived in California, and my oldest brother was working up in the mountains. And he said, well, would you like to, it was summertime, would you like to come up and work with me? So they'll pay you $1.25 an hour. that was, wow, unbelievable money back in the 50s, late 50s. And so I went to work up in the mountains as the youngest person on the team. I got to do a lot of chainsawing. We were building the road through, sorry, brain's not working, but way up in the mountains, and they were building the road through the big park up there. And I had to go through, cut down the trees. And then I had to go back and cut the trees up, and then I had to go back and get the trees, the logs, up on the logging truck. So I got to learn a lot. And it was hard work, and I made, wow, I was making unbelievable amount of money.
At what age was this? 14?
Yeah, when I turned 14.
Oh,
You had to be
that's-
14 years old to be able to drive. I'd moved to California from Texas, and at Texas at 14 you could get a driver's license. So I had my driver's license, and we moved to California, and I just went down to the driver's license bureau and handed in my license, and they just they didn't, because you couldn't get a driver's license in California at that time at 14 years old, but they didn't look, and I had a driver's license.
And they handed you a chainsaw. It was more.
In their defense, a lumberjack walked in and said, "I need to update my license."
Well, I loved being a lumberjack. What I learned and what it did for my body was amazing. 14 years old, and I turned into a man.
It's crazy for us to hear that, because like I got my first job at 14 too, but I had to get permission slips signed and everything by the school, and I had to get a work permit, and
Yep,
that was
I
just
remember
that was to be a waiter at a pizza place.
What?
Nothing compared to being a lumberjack. Like you wouldn't be allowed to do that as a kid today, so it's kind of crazy.
Not at 14 years old. No, I think now you have to be at least 18
Yeah. Oh,
to be a lumberjack.
Especially a job like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, starting out at 12, like I was cutting grass as well. I'm sure Eli was too, but we have a certain disposition.
yeah. It was a Mexican upbringing.
What?
I'm more, again, 14. That's my son being a year younger would be cutting, or not even cutting grass, but using a chainsaw to make roads.
Yes,
That
making
is
the big road through.
Wild.
Yeah.
Was it Yellowstone? It was. Sorry, my brain's not working.
You got Big Bear. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different areas in there.
I cut roads in Big Bear. Yes.
There you go.
Yosemite.
Yosemite. Yes, definitely.
So you said it was $1.25 a day, which was a lot of money back then.
That
And
was
then-
an unbelievable amount of money.
Well, and in your book, it was, you say that, but it's hard to convey like what is good money. And then in your book, you say as a kid, you'd use that money and you had actually bought a new car and a motorcycle.
Yes, sir.
At 14, 15 years old with
Yes,
that
sir.
amount of money. So, I mean, how much were cars and motorcycles back then when you were buying them? And you bought them brand new. They weren't used. They were
new. Yeah.
yeah. That's
I don't
crazy.
remember, but it wasn't nothing compared today.
That's what I'm saying. Like now, a truck is $100,000.
Oh, wow.
And he was buying a brand new car and a motorcycle at 14 years old from his summertime job.
Well, the first car I bought was not brand new. It was a 1946 Chevy, but it looked brand new. It was in wonderful condition, and that's what I drove from where we lived down south of Stockton, and I would drive it up in the mountains. That's where I worked all week, and then drive it back home, and it worked great.
It sounds like at 14 you were already a full adult. Just how you're speaking about that, even buying a motorcycle, a vehicle, and then driving up for the week, coming back home on the weekend, and you're 14, 15
At
years old.
14 years old, my daddy said, "Son, if you want a vehicle, then you have to get a job." And he meant it. And so I got a job. Well, my oldest brother was working, I can't remember the name of the company, but it was cutting down the big, they were going down, cutting the great big
Redwoods.
redwoods. And so I got a job. As the youngest guy there, I'm the man that had to climb to the top of the redwoods with at least one chainsaw strapped on my waist, and then start cutting off 30-foot sections, coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down.
Wow.
Guess who's the inheritor of a new pot? Not Brandon, because he doesn't cook. It's me.
Notice how it didn't dent even against Connor's hard-ass head.
I smell toast.
He's cooking the meal of his dreams with HEXCLAD.
I love HEXCLAD.
How was your dream?
It's great. I cooked a grilled cheese sandwich.
Thanks to HEXCLAD?
Unironically support this product, so.
On a serious note, we all use those. They replaced even my cast iron skillet now. I started using that over my cast iron.
They make a big old wok. I don't know the technical term for it, but the big, like, round one.
No, it is. It's a giant wok.
But yeah, no, the wok. Dude, get the wok.
Dude, they get hot as hell.
The heat distribution is phenomenal, too. Because, like, that wok, like, if you put it on, if you use a gas stove, like somebody who knows how to cook and not an electric stove, I'll forgive it if you're renting. But the heat distribution is so perfect. You can drop an egg in, and not only does it glide around, but it's so evenly heated all the way around. Make some fried rice in that wok.
Oh, and it doesn't stick thanks to HEXCLAD's anti-stick. What's the feature called?
Terabond ceramic.
And that's usually the big trade-off with anything like this is easy to clean, trash to cook with, or vice versa. This is like, hey, we got you all in one pan or pans. So if you're planning on spending time behind the grill this summer, don't make it harder than it needs to be. Stop losing food through the grates and upgrade your backyard cooking setup with HEXCLAD's barbecue collection. Through August 20th until September 8th, you can get up to 52% off HEXCLAD and upgrade your kitchen for the new season. Just head to hexclad.com/unsub. That's HEXCLAD.com/unsub. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Tell them. Now, go. Do it.
And this is, what was the attachment system? Because this isn't safety of today. There's no OSHA at this point, I'm guessing.
I had a rope, and that was, and then come down, then come down, then come down. And if when you came to the limb, which on the redwoods there weren't that many limbs on them, and you had to go around to where the limb was and undo your rope, and then put it below the limb and put.
And Sammy, were you gaffing? Do you have the spikes on your shoes?
Oh, definitely, yes, sir.
Yeah, you were gaffing
yes,
up and down.
Yes, sir.
That's dangerous work too, because if you slide down, there's something sticking out. It goes through you.
On those big redwoods, the bark is in slabs, and if you weren't careful,
you guys ever hear about gaffing incidents?
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah,
giant splinters.
Splinters that'll go up in you and hit your heart.
I'm just 14 is wild to be doing this
to be gaffing up a redwood and then coming back down. That's insane.
See, it seems crazy to us. You lived it, so it probably doesn't seem too crazy. But
that's the way it was.
Yeah, I mean, was there training they gave you to climb trees like that, or did they just kind of be like, here's a rope, figure it out, climb up that tree?
Well, I can't say it on the microphone what they told me, but get your up that tree. So I got my up the tree.
I guarantee you can say it on this here microphone.
You can say it on our podcast if you
want
want
get
to.
your ass up that tree. And that's how I learned to climb.
And you said this was for $1.25 a day?
No, that was an hour.
Okay, an hour. Okay, so
well, I think they started me off at like 70 cents an hour and then went 75 cents an hour, and I became relatively proficient at it, and that's when they started paying me $1.25 an hour. I mean, that was, wow.
So by today's standards, if that was 1958, today's standards, what would that have been, 1960 then?
No, I started working up there in the late 50s.
Okay, so in $58,
$50 a week.
That's about $15 per hour. Or about $14.25.
For what, today?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
So in today's money.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's about $50 a week, which is...
That is absolutely not $50 a week.
40 hours, $1.25. I was like $1.25 times 40 is $50.
I thought you were talking about in modern dollars. I'm like,
I was so confused.
Eli, I know we're talking GED territory here, but that was really far off.
I was like, that's right.
I was making really good money. I was making almost as much money as my daddy was earning.
What did he do?
He worked at Fishback Moore Construction. Wow. And did wherever they sent him. Did many different jobs. Dad run bulldozers, drove tractors, whatever was needed. That's what he did. That's the way it was back then. You just did whatever the job was.
When you had now, how did this set you up? You probably got in really good shape doing this, and then joining the military. You were probably ahead of a lot of the individuals you were at basic training with.
Definitely. What a lot of the men in basic training, what they said, well, I can't do that for 20 minutes. I'd been doing it for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, you're scurrying up trees and down trees all day long.
Yes, sir. And so I encouraged them and told them, you don't lose till you quit trying. And so all of us started doing pretty good.
That's awesome.
In fact, our team was a sought-after team in Southern California because we could really, go in and do the job and get out and then go to the next job. And
you plow through. And you joined, now, I know you said in the past that you joined the Army just because the line was shorter, but you wanted to go Navy, correct?
I was going to go Navy, yes, because my oldest brother was in the Navy. And I always wanted to join the Navy. Their line it wasn't moving. I was going to join the Marine Corps, actually, and their line was not moving, and so I stepped over when I had to go to work. I kept looking at my watch, and I just stepped over in the Army line, and boom, went in. And
Marine line, it took them a while to spell their name.
No, there were just a lot of people doing it, and
that has been a recurring thing. I mean, all I do is military history videos, so I've covered a lot of Medal of Honor recipients, and it is, for Army Medal of Honor recipients, it is a recurring theme that either they were going to go into the Marine Corps or they got rejected by the Marine Corps and then went into the Army. You, Audie Murphy, there's like 10 others. So it's interesting over and over and over again. But in your book, you talked about one of your main drill instructors, and you said that he challenged you guys. Everybody else was running in formation, and he was running backwards, yelling at you. And he said, if anybody thinks they're good enough, they can try running backwards with him, and you tried.
And I did it.
I believe you, but in your book, all you said was he didn't care for that much. I feel like there's more to that story.
He did not care for it at all, the fact that I could run backwards with him. In fact, I could outrun him backwards, and that offended him highly.
The drill sergeant's known for loving when they're getting one up by a private. Can't smoke me, drill sergeant. And goes over very well.
How did he voice this dismay?
Well, I can't say the words here because there's ladies present, but he called me young and stupid because I could run backwards as fast as he could. But you don't lose till you quit trying. Looking back on it, it wasn't a hard job for me because I'd been working in the oil field. I'd been working in the mountains. I was in pretty good shape. I was in real good shape, actually.
So what was the punishment?
It was a reward.
I love so far the inflection in which you say "hua" can mean so many different things. It's either like yeah, hell yeah, no shit, like
hua.
Well, I feel like after you going up the trees and down the trees and doing all the things that you've done in the oil fields, you felt like that was. Do you think it was kind of a vacation? Just like I got
exactly.
Like,
it wasn't.
This
a hard
is
job.
easy for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other young men that were doing the same jobs as I was doing, they said, "Man, this is really hard." I didn't think it was hard. I just kept rolling and kept doing better and better and better. And
so I'm curious, with you making good money very early on, working in the trees and stuff like that. Especially, you said that you were making, I think, more than your old man, right?
Yes, sir.
What inspired you then to take the jump to join the military?
Well, I went back to high school. I mean, I was doing this in the summer, working in the summertime, and my dad said, I've lived in California as long as I care to live. We're going to move back home. And the job he got was in Indiana, so that's where we moved. And I went to Mooresville High School. And I loved it. The people were good. The teachers were good.
Was it in Indiana you started working in the oil fields then?
Illinois.
Illinois, sorry.
Well, Indiana, Illinois. We lived right by the border.
Oh, I gotcha. So then you went from lumberjack to being a roughneck in oil fields.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that happened work-wise in between there and the military?
Work-wise? No, that's pretty much what I did. Well, when I was in school, I went to work at a bowling alley as a cook.
How was that job interview? Looking at your past job experience, let's see here. You're 17. You've been a lumberjack and an oil rig operator.
2 grown-ass man careers for years.
For years.
A career at this point.
Well, I found out, I'd been cooking at home. Mama taught me how to cook. So I know how to cook. And evidently my food was pretty good because they wanted me to be the cook. I said, okay. So while I was in high school, that's what I did.
Well, no wonder you married him, Dixie. He's got the manliest jobs ever, and he can cook.
But every recipe he makes is for 100 people.
So you're eating well.
Yeah. I love him more.
Well, you got these big, that's just what I learned to cook. Everything was in big pots, you know.
Well, it's got to come in handy with 16 grandkids?
18
grandkids,
18
okay.
grandbabies.
Wow.
Going back to Brandon's question, like, what was the motivating factor? It was like, I want to sign up for this, and I want to serve the country.
The military? Well, my mama's daddy, John Hellig, had been in World War I, and he lived in Dayton, Ohio, and visited us with us a lot. He'd come stay many days with us and then go back to Ohio, and he would talk to me. And, when you going to join the military? Well, soon, Grandpa. When you going to join the military? Well, soon, Grandpa. I joined. I wanted to join. You know, I wanted to grow up, be like Grandpa Hellig. I'm still working on it.
And I don't know, it's just amazing seeing, like, your grandpa was in the Army.
Yes. Grandpa was Army.
Yeah, and that's during World War I, which is,
yes,
again, completely, it's wild looking at the different battles, because I even look at Vietnam, like what you experienced compared to GWAT and what I experienced. I'm like, man, that is crazy. And then when we have these World War II vets on that are like Normandy, Battle of the Bulge, it's insanity to think about that and experience that, because
the life they had to live just to survive, most people today have no concept.
Nope.
No concept.
They don't appreciate life as much, and I think that's the war is hell, and I think that is a very true statement, but also it does make you appreciate a lot of little things.
Freedom is not free. It has always had to be earned. And my grandpa and my grandpa's grandpa, everybody had to fight for freedom. And they passed it down to me. They made me understand what the value of it was and what you had to do to earn it. And I'm still doing it today. I'm encouraging America to stand up for what you believe is right in your heart. I don't preach politics. I want every American to stand up, duty, honor, country.
Yeah, good shirt. I'm sure it exists.
So when you...
That is a T-shirt. Duty, honor, country.
And you wanted to go to Vietnam out of the gate because I believe in your book.
It was my job.
It was because obviously I came well after you did, but after basic training to this day, as far as I know, or at least in 2012 when I graduated basic training, they still did give us the three locations you want to go to, and we'll try to station you there. But at the end of the day, they're going to send you wherever they want. And you said a lot of people were asking to go to, Europe, Germany, Korea, and your number one pick at the time during the Vietnam War was to go to Vietnam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. simply because of the stories that I had heard. I would rather go to Vietnam than go to Korea.
What was the reasoning on that?
Well, the way the U.S. veterans were treated in Korea was not always honorable. And what they talked about when you're sitting around the table, what do you talk about? Well, if you're a Korean veteran, you talk about all the bad stuff that happened. You know, how they treated you as a U.S. soldier in Korea after the Korean War. Made me want to do something different. So I joined the military and volunteered to go to Vietnam. And I'm proud of it. I'm glad I did. The Vietnamese people treated us awesome. Dixie and I got to go back to South Vietnam in 2016, and our State Department worked with their State Department, and we got to have a lunch with 5 of my enemy.
Really?
From the night that I earned this.
Really?
And the first hour that we're sitting there at this table, how many people were there, Dixie?
10.
And the first hour, nobody said a whole lot. I mean, we talked, but we didn't really talk. Well, then started opening up and warming up, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm glad that they came, and I'm glad that we got to spend the time together. What we all found out was that we loved each other. Our enemies. We loved each other today. Because, wow. And these were 5 men that were there the night that I earned this. And they started talking about things that happened that night. And I remembered. And then the more I talked, the more they remembered, the more they talked. And it was awesome. We came together as former enemies. And when we left as brothers. It was wonderful. I would recommend every soldier, if they could do that, to go back to their people, that they do it, because it made my heart better. Seriously. I mean, it just, wow.
I love seeing a lot of those videos where you have, like, for example, World War II, like a German fighter pilot and American fighter pilot.
Wow.
70 years later, getting to talk to each other and things like that. It's just, it's very cool to be able to see those reunions.
It is. And
you know why we love Cash App, Finn? Put your face right here. This is how we pay him, through Cash App. Yard service, business, opportunities, or bills. Cash App is what's for you. You know why it's easy? 'Cause it's easy. You just scan the QR code, and then you hit the number you need to send them to pay them. Fucking love Cash App. Also, is your debit card boring? No one wants that. We want exciting ones. Well, with Cash App, that's a possibility. If you weren't up to speed already, Cash App is way more than just a safe way to send and receive money. With the Cash App card, you unlock a ton of perks without all the hidden fees. Enjoy benefits like exclusive early access to nationwide concert pre-sales, Kendrick Lamar and Sabrina Carpenter, to name a couple recent examples. Love them. Plus discounts on everyday purchases and popular brands you are probably already spending money on. New Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CashApp10 in their profile as sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Cash App Visa, debit, flex cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. And the Bancorp Bank, N.A. Pursuant to a license from Visa USA, Inc. See terms and conditions for the Sutton Prepaid Card, Sutton Debit Flex Card, and Bancorp Debit Flex Card. Cash App green features, savings, direct deposit, round-ups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit Cash App/legal/podcast for full disclosure.
Indeed.
I'm sorry. It's one thing. It's just that level of their perspective is going to be completely different and how they viewed it during that time, and then seeing what you and it's amazing. You guys broke bread, and then you.
Well, what we found was that they felt pretty much the same way that I did about what happened that night, what happened here, and you remember this, you remember that. Wow, and the more we talked about it, the more we opened up about what was really in our hearts, and we all basically felt the same. Now, they were the enemy. I was their enemy, but we were soldiers doing our job.
I'm not sure GWAT's going to have exactly the same experience, but
Yeah, I don't know. A little bit.
there might be a little bit more going on that one.
It's that, I mean, you're fighting a different force. Man, it's a beautiful thing. As you're saying, the world, even the Germans, that Christmas, that one battle where they stopped.
The Christmas truce in World War I.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like that one, where it's just, you're just putting a pause on war and you're ignoring, like, hey, not today.
Especially World War I, because World War I, that was just, you know, a lot of waste in that one. Just because ideologically there really wasn't a difference between anybody on the field. It was just, you know, nations, treaties, a lot of old men sending young men to die. And so, you know, there really wasn't much animosity outside of they didn't want to get killed.
So,
exactly.
I mean, getting to go do that dinner and then obviously meeting and getting to talk with some other guys that were there with you that day over the years, what was it like kind of filling in the blanks? Because, like, obviously you were there, you lived it, but there's a lot going on. You didn't catch all of it. So what is it like getting to piece everything together from all these different perspectives?
It filled in holes in my heart that had been there for many years that were created in Vietnam, because I found answers, and I found out that my former enemies basically felt the same way that I felt.
And what would that be?
I didn't hate you because you were my enemy in Vietnam. We were soldiers doing our job. And that time together in Vietnam in 2016, we got to come together and open up our hearts, and we became brothers. It was amazing. I mean, it was just, I found out they were people just like me. They weren't, you know, the badass enemy. They were brothers just like me. And it made my heart feel better. It's helped me be more open. What do you agree, Dixie?
I'm an audience. I don't have to answer.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a whole different perspective to take me back with you, because you had described that country before. It basically was the same as you described it 50 years ago.
Yep.
Things had not changed.
Yep.
And I found the people to be very nice and still very appreciative of American soldiers.
The freedom we provided them, yes.
And they taught the little kids that didn't even know probably English at all, but they were taught by the generations before that when you see an American, you know, soldiers just look alike, only the age is different, but they still look the same. Those little kids would run up and grab Sam's hand and say thank you.
And the look in their eye, thank you. You knew they meant it. They made me feel as they meant it. And it was just awesome, you know.
And ironically, it was the Vietnamese were treating you well, and it was the Americans who didn't treat you well.
Exactly.
And those
Exactly.
the little kids were so great. And I did notice that the women did all the work. They were carrying those, you know, those big things they wear over their shoulders and carry all that weight. The women did that while the old men sat around in a circle, squatted down on the ground, talking and smoking.
Proper country.
Yeah, Dixie, we got to teach American women.
Joking.
But they were a hard-working people.
Yes, they are.
Then they had roadsides where it would be like a rest area for us now, but the roadsides were filled with hammocks, just the sling kind of hammocks. So I guess if people got tired while they were going somewhere, they could just take a nap.
Yep.
It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. Of course, it was the men napping.
Of course. Well, no, there's the old men that were sitting around smoking and joking because they had the young men off at 14 cutting down trees.
That's right. That's the way it works.
That's crazy. Well, that's a beautiful story. again, a lot of times when you look at when opposing forces, it is even Iraq, GWAT, it is, hey, these people are in your country. How would you react if an invading force was in America? What would we have done? The exact same thing. So it's that weird.
It was the beautiful piece of American literature known as Red Dawn from 1984.
Red Dawn. I had the privilege of General Westmoreland sent me to Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever we were. He wanted me to go talk to the troops. So I got to go over and spend at least 3 to 5 days in each location. And I got to talk to our troops, and I got to talk to them. And it was amazing, heartwarming. I mean, it was part of the reason why I'm doing much better in my soul today, was because of me being able to go back to Vietnam and then to the other countries and talk to them. It was amazing. I'm a better person today because I got to do that.
That's awesome, man. They didn't bring you in to fight any more wars or anything. you didn't pick up an M16.
That's classified, Cody.
Can't talk about it.
Now, before getting into your Medal of Honor story, you had was it Roger Donlin is the guy that inspired you.
Yes, sir.
Because his heroic actions and
Yes,
how
sir.
he earned his, which is again wild. You had that story, and then you're.
And I'm unfamiliar with this story.
Yeah, yeah. Which one? Roger
Donlin.
You know it better.
He
than
was
me.
the first Medal of Honor recipient from Vietnam.
He had his story was, oh man, it was during a giant push. He stood there and fought off like 3 waves for it was 5 or 8 hours, and when they actually, and he was injured. He got hit with a
Yes.
mortar, took shrapnel to the face, got shot, just
Yes.
riddled with wounds. And
But he kept
was,
doing his job, no matter what.
He was the captain that was just in charge, and he rallied his troops and was like, hey, we're getting attacked from this way. We need to push this way. At the end, there was 54 enemies dead.
Did he survive?
Yep.
Oh, very nice.
He did well for many years.
Very nice.
And that's the one that inspired you.
Yes.
And then you did your time in the military. And then how long from basic training to deployment for Vietnam?
For Vietnam, well, basic training, advanced individual training, Vietnam.
And when you first got into country, you kind of got diverted to being a guard for the compound initially, didn't you?
Yeah, guard for the ammo, the long bin ammunition dump.
Yep.
When we got there, when our group arrived in Vietnam, they pulled, I don't remember how many of us was now, 20 or 30, and made us guards at the long bin ammo dump. And we thought, oh, wow.
But that was because there was a fairly successful attack there, and everybody thought it was not capable of getting attacked, right?
Well, it's a big ammunition dump, and they had lots of people, our guys, guarding it, but the enemy knew that, and that was where all the ammunition that was being used in South Vietnam was being stored. That's how big this ammunition dump was, just a big field full of ammo pallets.
So juicy target.
Oh, big target, yes. So that was my first job in Vietnam.
You said when you were being a guard that you had started to notice that some of the local people that were like allowed to come onto the base for whatever reasons, you started to notice you could tell who they were gathering intel, trying to like pass it on. There were people that were like walking toe to heel, measuring distances so they could give.
It wasn't noticeable, but it was noticeable because we knew what to look for.
You caught on?
Yes.
And then there was a Black Panther on top of the ammo, you said.
What?
Yes, sir.
I hate that superhero.
Did you actually see it in person, or was that just somebody else?
No,
saw
we seen it. No,
you saw it.
The Panther. Well, we found out that there were people feeding him, and that's what made him come back. And it was cool. I mean, they're a beautiful animal, and
I'm still just picturing Chadwick Boseman.
It's the most army thing ever.
they're much bigger than what you can imagine.
It's just like the Major Caper story about stealing the pythons from the jungle.
Yeah. You saw a tiger too, didn't you?
We did see a tiger, yes.
That's even bigger than a panther by quite a bit, isn't it?
At least half as big.
Like an actual orange tiger, like a Bengal tiger.
A real tiger.
What was that like being a kid from the country, growing up in the woods?
Well, I was country boy. I was used to.
Well, I know, but I mean, you didn't have the internet or Discovery Channel back in the day. I mean, obviously, you probably knew what a tiger was, but it's not like you'd seen a bunch of 4K videos of it.
When I heard a noise behind me, I was doing my job on guard.
Oh, it's the worst place to hear a tiger.
And I heard a noise behind me. Well, it was kind of like. So I slowly turned around. And when I got turned around, there was tiger eyes this close to me. He had got up that close. Well, what do?
Shit my
Shit
pants.
your pants. Yeah.
Well, then he closed his eyes and disappeared, but it was amazing.
Oh, he was stalking you.
Well, he was just checking me out.
I think he was stalking you, and you turned. Oh. They're I just looked. Those are 440 pounds.
Oh, they're big, unbelievable.
They're the biggest.
This tall monkey
cat,
smells like shit suddenly. I'm not interested anymore.
The food's spoiled. Walks off. That is, and cats are, they mess you up really quick. I think Kevin talks about that's the most dangerous animal out in Africa.
Well,
when they go
their hands were so big and their claws were so big. Unfortunately, we had 2 different times, but we had 2 guys that got attacked by a tiger, and both of them was on the back, and their cuts on their back just would look like a big sharp knife had went in 4 places down the. I mean, we got there when it happened, basically just seconds after it happened, and the wounds were laid open. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, like someone just took a big knife and went like that.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, that would suck, but also name a cooler scar.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, how'd you get that? I got attacked by a tiger.
No. Don't sew it all the way shut. Leave it open
leave
a little.
Pour some lime juice in that, actually.
Well, I never got to see the guys again. They got sent home, but it was amazing.
There was a buddy of mine growing up. Had, not to derail, but on that the scar notice or the scar story, he had the coolest scar ever, and it was like he actually earned it the proper way. But you'll hear the story. So he actually got bit by a shark when he was swimming as a kid, and it was a perfect row of teeth across his torso. Like it was very clear. Like anytime, like in the locker room or whatever, he takes off his shirt, like you see,
he survived.
Perfect row of teeth. Wow. And he was like, I don't know, 15, 16 or whatever. So like taller guy, like it was a very big looking shark. I think it happened when he was like 7.
Oh, wow.
So it was a much smaller shark. He's still flat out shark attack survivor, but the scar grew with him. So it looks like a much more dangerous shark.
That's way cooler. You're not convincing me on this whole ocean thing either right now.
Yeah, why'd you tell him about the ocean, Brandon?
I think he knows what a shark is.
We brought him to the ocean a couple years ago. It sucks. He won't come back.
Cat mauling's average is 200 stitches per.
Awkwardly enough, the only landlocked state to have a shark attack on document is Iowa.
All right, what?
There was a shark
What the hell is
attack
going to
in
attack you on
Iowa.
land?
I'm thinking like Jurassic Park. Shoot!
I looked
like
up
it's
the
in a
story when it
fucking
happened, but
aquarium.
it's all over the internet.
It's an actual shark attack?
If you look up the map of shark attacks, they have like red dots, and it's obviously all around the coastlines.
Was it in the zoo or
There's
something?
one dot. I can't. I think
Did
it
this
was, I think it
dumbass
was in
did the
captivity.
shark just get lost? And
It was at the Blue Zoo Interactive Aquarium in West Des Moines, Iowa, where an 18-inch bamboo shark bit a staff member's hand. Oh, come on. It's like a foot and a half. 18-inch bamboo shark bit a hand. Oh, you got a little fingy hurt.
God Lord.
Iowans, am I right?
Yeah, right.
But
he blows everything out of fucking
But the meme,
proportions.
this is the meme. This is
I've seen the meme.
It's you can see just the one dot for a shark attack in Iowa.
Hey, you ever just wake up and felt like your mattress sucks and it beat your ass, punched you in the face?
That's crazy. Does the mattress also f*** your mom?
You ever wake up feeling like you slept in a swamp because of your disgusting, nasty ball sweat?
I see most of you on Reddit, so I know you have.
Time to break up with that mattress.
Get divorced from your mattress. Get a ghost bed.
That hoe.
You're worth more. You're so strong.
Well, guess what? GHOSTBED just launched their new mattress line.
It's designed to keep you cool, supported in all the right areas, if you catch my drift, you giant hog, and help you get sleep.
These beds are built with its patented cooling technology, Brandon.
So you can keep your giant hog cool.
Did you know they're built to last?
That's right, none of that dripping ear nonsense. Every mattress has a 20 or 25-year warranty. That means if I bought one today, it will outlive me before the warranty expires. I don't have much time left!
Especially with as much as you smoke.
Way to make it real, Brandon.
Plus 101 night sleep trial.
Don't love it? Send that back!
101 nights, that's 3 months risk-free.
They got the full setup!
Adjustable bases and pillows.
Buttery soft sheets. Buttery.
And even better, you can get 10% off site-wide when you go to ghostbed.com/unsubscribe and use code unsubscribe.
And that's on top of their everyday deals of mattresses, adjustable bases, and pillows already being up to 50% off. Come on, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why aren't you going and using code unsubscribe?
Hey, go use code unsub.
What's happening? What's going on?
That's ghostbed.com/unsubscribe. Use code unsubscribe.
Sleep better. Stay cooler.
This is a threat. Dude, okay, right now,
we had to
just for the bit, no joke, I could just buy a shark and then just have it bite me. Like one of those little bamboo sharks. Now it's Texas. Texas, too.
San Antonio shark attack, man.
We have a confirmed barracuda attack in San Antonio because when we were filming Bass Pro Shop, we did that.
Oh, yeah.
That midnight shoot. So we had to film a commercial. We did 2 nights in a row. And Jake from Corridor decided there's the giant aquarium that has like all the big fish in there. Jake's like, oh, and he reached his hand in there for some reason. Barracuda immediately snapped his hand and started bleeding. We're like, Jake, we told you not to reach.
Jake Watson?
Yeah, Jake, lawyer Jake.
Jake's been attacked by a barracuda.
Yep.
Are you talking about the whole BRCC shoot?
Yep.
Back
He got attacked.
It was like 5 years, 6 years ago.
Probably like 6 years ago. He reached in and got bit on the hand. Wow. Blood by a barracuda because he wanted to pet it.
It gets worse. The story he told me is he thought he was faster than a barracuda.
There.
So he
Pardon
put
me?
his finger in and thinking he could pull it out faster than a predatory fish.
You are not faster than a barracuda.
No, he wasn't.
In his defense, Jake is fast.
Famously slow barracudas.
I'm just saying. Nobody told me for the first 2 years. Jake is our friend. He lives in town here. Nobody told me for the first 3 years I knew the guy that he had like records in track. Mm-hmm. He was like the 13th person to run a sub 4 minute mile or something.
Well, I think it's because it was like brothers or something like that.
Yeah,
like
he
him and
was
his brother.
Second
set of brothers.
To break the 4 minute barrier.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cooking 4 minutes.
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
Fast.
That is no. See, I was never good enough. That was my one weakness in the Army. I could max it by 2 seconds, and I was dying.
I want to see you and Jake in a foot race, not because I think you'll win, but I just want to see the step counts on how fast, how many steps it takes Jake to run a mile, and how many steps it takes you to run a mile.
I'm Naruto running really quick steps, arms back.
He just does the full Naruto run. Attacking Area 51.
So, one thing that I want to ask you about was you talked about the first time you went to a Medal of Honor Society meetup, and the first time you walked in the door, you saw Doolittle,
Jimmy Doolittle,
Eddie Rickenbacker, and Pappy Boyington all sitting there at the same time.
Yes.
3 of the biggest legends in military aviation ever, and you were, what, 23-year-old kid?
Yeah.
What was that like, walking in and coming face to face with those 3 at the same time?
Blew me away.
I bet.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I just, whoa, and they called me the fucking new kid.
I like you've earned a Medal of Honor and you're the new fucking new kid.
But I wasn't offended by it. That's just the way they saw it. I was the fucking new kid,
I mean,
come in, sit down, you fucking new kid.
If anybody's going to call you the new guy, it's there. They can get away with it.
And, well, they didn't make it sound negatory. It was, I was the new kid.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it worked good. God bless them.
What
That is.
What are some of their stories? You're the historian, so I would love to know
So,
more on.
Doolittle was like a pioneer in early aviation. And have you ever seen the movie Midway?
Yes.
You know the guys where they have the bombers on the carriers, and the bombers take off and go and bomb Tokyo as revenge for Pearl Harbor? That was Doolittle.
Yep.
That's the Doolittle raid.
Yep.
You ever watch that Pearl Harbor movie?
So they literally took
He's
off.
in there a lot.
They took
It's about
off
him.
carriers on bombers on a one-way trip, bombed Tokyo, and then they were trying to have enough fuel to make it into China, who was our ally at the time, but they didn't make it. They had to crash land, and they escaped into China, and he wound up surviving. So, like, that was Doolittle. Pappy Boyington was the leader of the Black Sheep Squadron in World War II. Badass fighter pilot. Pappy, a lot of people don't know this, but Pappy Boyington was also, prior to being in the Black Sheep, he was one of the Flying Tigers that had been sent into China before America was even in World War II. So he was fighting against the Japanese before America was involved. And then he joined the Black Sheep, had the Black Sheep Squadron. They did a bunch of incredible stuff. And then Eddie Rickenbacker was originally a race car driver prior to World War I, and then got into aviation because the dude just wanted to go fast. And in World War I, he became America's ace of aces with America's highest kill count.
And you've done videos on like 2 of these people.
I've
right?
done
2 of the
videos
3?
on none of them, but
Really?
they've all been recurring characters. So like Eddie Rickenbacker was there, and he went and saw Frank Luke, the Arizona balloon buster, and he was there as like the ace of aces at the time that watched the Arizona balloon buster pop 2 balloons in like 5 minutes. And he was also there for Dick Bong. And Eddie Rickenbacker had made a bet with all the World War II pilots: anybody that can beat my record, I'm going to buy you a case of champagne. So he was in Dick Bong's story also.
It's also a little weird knowing you as a friend, because all I know in my head, like, it's not a parasocial relationship like the rest of you guys. All I know is that at some point I'm like, I've heard Nick talk about these men before. And I just assume it's probably in a video, but it could have just, we're out at like a bar or something like that.
Yeah, no, they've definitely appeared. And I talk about Pappy Boyington, I think, in my Flying Tigers video. But I definitely need...
I think he might have talked about one of them on one of the Unsub live shows too.
Probably.
Dick Bong, I think.
Yeah. So...
That's a man. And you got to meet all of... Yeah, that would have been
I had
wild
the
at
privilege,
that
yes.
time.
I was the new kid and got to be good friends with all those men. You know, it was just amazing that the Vietnam veterans, they were allowed to sit at the same table and talk with all these World War II heroes that we'd read about. Wow. And they made us feel part of them. So it was awesome.
Do you feel like that's a lot of what maybe some of the newer GWAT guys feel with guys like you?
Well, we try to treat them the same as they treated us. You know, and I think it's working.
You told Clint Romachet to sit the fuck down.
I love Clint.
He just says hi.
Did it?
Yeah,
Really?
he said hi. I was like, hey. So he's like, they are the kindest people. Dude, Clint, we love Clint here. Like, Clint's a homie to all
man.
of us.
Yes, sir.
Amazing, amazing human. Now, do you want to tell your story or go into your Medal of Honor story? Because I think that's what a lot of the people would love to hear your perspective of. I know you've told it a million times,
Yes,
but
sir.
I think you telling it is just a piece of history, especially for this audience and us.
Well, that night, November the 18th, 1967, there were 42 of us and 1,500 of the enemy. They had a reinforced heavy weapons battalion of NVA. Now, at the time, it was not admitted that there were that many North Vietnamese fighters in South Vietnam. That was not politically correct to acknowledge that fact. So it wasn't until deep into the night that we discovered that they were NVA, had NVA uniforms on. You know, I mean, wow. And as I told you earlier, in 2016, we got to meet with 5 of our former enemy, and they had been North Vietnamese regulars. And we got to talk to them and opened up to their questions. They opened up to my questions, and we got to find out things that had been important in our hearts all these years, but didn't talk about it. Well, we talked about it, and it helped my soul, and it helped their soul, because I answered their questions too. Well, why did this happen? Well, how did you do that? And, and just simple questions, but we never talked about it. It was awesome.
And then you did just kicked it all off. What was the initial point of, okay, the battle's beginning, and then leading to you? I mean, your story again, like that night was amazing, or above and beyond. Not amazing in that term, but what you did, your actions were amazing. It's why you wear that medal.
Well, I'm not a brave man, but I love my brothers, and the reason why I did what I did was because I loved those men across the river. They were there doing their job, and I had to go get them. So I went and got them, and I did whatever I had to do it.
Where'd you find you had a mattress that you used?
An air mattress that that the Army had given us to sleep on. That was our bed.
The little green ones.
Yes, and that was the boat that I used to get across. And of course, it got holes in it because they were shooting at me, but it still held enough air. Well, I don't remember if I tied it off or tried a rope around where the holes were, but it got me across and got me and my brothers, the 3 men that I swam across the river for, back across too. It worked.
How long was that swim?
How long was it? Dixie, do you remember how far it was across that river? We've stood at that.
30 meters.
That's all wider than it was?
I mean, when you're getting shot at, that is a football field to me.
And I was wounded. I was wounded multiple times, but I still did my job. And when we got the meeting with the NVA that were there that night, that was one of the things that, how did you do that? I said, well, you don't lose till you quit trying. And I just did not quit trying. I just kept swimming. And yeah, it hurt. My back was broken 3 different spots, my spine, but I didn't quit.
Did any of those men remember seeing you crossing the river?
Oh, definitely.
If you don't mind, for those that I'm sure there's a lot in the audience who don't know the story, and I only know the cliff notes, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind starting from the beginning of the engagement?
The beginning?
Yes, sir.
That'll take 3 nights to talk about it.
A rough overview.
There were 42 GIs, artillerymen, and there was 1,500 reinforced heavy weapons battalion of NBA across the river, and they were attacking part of our guys, our infantry. Jim Deister from Salina, Kansas, one of the 3 men that I brought back across the river, he was across the river, and he was badly enough wounded. He wasn't the man that I seen waving at me and then would hide, wave at me and then hide. But I knew I had to go across the river and get it. So, wow, my brothers are over there. So I made it across the river with the help of that air mattress and went to where I'd last seen. It wasn't Jim Deister. Yes, Wendell Holloway from Stockton, California. He was the one that was waving at me. And when I got there, there were 3 men in that foxhole. Well, I knew I didn't have the strength. I'd been wounded quite a bit. I knew I didn't have the strength to make 3 trips back across. So I did my very best to bring all 3 men at one time. And they could hang on, kind of. We all took care of each other, basically, and came back across the river. We all survived. Wendell lives in Stockton, California. Jim Deister lives in Kansas. Billy Ray Crawford. Yep. He was from Texas, and he took his own life. And I had talked to him not that long before.
He said that you would go to Texas to see him. He came from a smaller town, and
Yes.
he was a black man.
Yeah.
And the country wasn't, even Texas, not good to a disabled black man. Sam went to the house, but Billy Ray would never let him in the house.
We would talk through the screen door.
Would never let him in, and I think, well, who can say what goes through somebody else's head, but that poor gentleman, disabled and probably feeling so alone,
Yes.
and at some point it was enough.
And when was that? Roughly.
Well,
He survived for 10 years after the war.
yeah. I was stationed at Fort Hood, and that's when I found out where Billy Ray lived, and it wasn't that far from Fort Hood, so I would drive down. Well, I won't say never, but usually he did not let me in the house. We talked through the screen door, and he would stand there, and I would talk to him, and he'd say a few words back, and then I knew it was time to leave. So I would turn around, go back to Fort Hood, and a few days later, well, I'd show up on his doorstep again. And do you remember if he ever let me in the house?
You said he did.
I don't remember him ever letting me in the house. We talked through the screen door. Well, I got to talk to his neighbors, and they said, yeah, we see him through the window, but he don't come outside. You know, well, now we know it was post-traumatic stress. And
Connor, when you used nicotine in the past, what have been your biggest frustrations?
Turns out you can't get as much of a pump going when you got a cig in your mouth at the gym that I go to all the time.
Was your recovery time worse on nicotine?
Oh, and how?
It narrows your blood vessels and restricts oxygen to your muscles.
It makes it hard to breathe, and your blood doesn't work.
Counteracts the pump.
Ultra pouches are perfect for athletes, runners, or health-conscious people because they're 100% nicotine-free.
You pop one of those bitches 5 minutes before your workout or your work day, and bam, you're gonna be on fire.
A lot of this shit is actually just good for you, like L-theanine, vitamin B6, vitamin B12.
Also, they help quit your cravings and they suppress your appetite. When do you recommend taking Ultra?
I'm gonna do this before the gym.
Before I'm pumping it, crazy style.
It's got nootropics.
Nootropics.
What's your favorite flavor, Brandon?
Mine's tropical.
I like Cool Mint.
Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch.
Delivering instant focus and mental clarity, all without nicotine or caffeine.
New customers can use the code UNSUB to get 15% off at takeultra.com.
That's 15% off at takeultra.com when you use code UNSUB. UNSUB.
stayed in his house, didn't talk to people. God bless him.
It's hard to connect when he went through that, and it is amazing. First off, you going out and then seeking him out and talking to him, that was super helpful, because a lot we've talked about it is reaching out, talking to your friends that have PTSD or are struggling with those.
Yes.
Just struggling with what was going on or what they experienced in Vietnam was extremely difficult, especially like your perspective, their perspective, and then coming back to the States where there's zero respect and they didn't know PTSD.
Zero understanding, because even the veterans didn't know what was really happening in our hearts and minds. And, well, it's been 50 years ago and I'm still learning. You know, it's amazing.
What do you think about Vietnam made it different? You said the veterans didn't even understand.
Well, I mean, the World War II veterans, Korean veterans, well, our war was different than their war. That's what they said. That's what they believed. And it wasn't until years later I understood that, no, our war's pretty much the same as theirs, you know. But you don't lose till you quit trying. And that's one of the reasons why I've stayed on the road, traveling and speaking to our veterans all over America, trying to encourage them to stand up for what you believe is right. What do you believe happened to you in Vietnam that made you the person you are today? And then go share it with the other person, because whatever, good or bad, positive or negative, that person over there needs to know about you and how you feel and how it's affected you. And today now, thank you, I have people, vets, come up to me and say, Sam, when you came and talked to me, it just renewed my soul. Wow. Thank you, sir.
So it was so different, though, in our small towns, where if you would go to the VFW or one of the service organizations, the old guys then would say, come sit down beside me, I'm going to tell you about a real war.
Yep.
And so it was just, or they'd say, it wasn't even a war. It was diminished. And it had to make them feel so much worse that what they did didn't matter. And then it wasn't that far in the future that the same old guys were asking them, please come join.
Yep.
Otherwise it won't be going anymore because nobody will do it. But a lot of those old dudes apologized, but it took a lot of years.
Took a long time.
And it was like what you did didn't matter, and I always thought that was so terribly unfair. But what about somebody's son? Did that not matter when they died for their country?
It's the second time so far. It's kind of interesting to see that parallel between the difference in, World War II veterans and Vietnam per se, or Vietnam and GWAT, and just how a lot of those attitudes really are kind of very similar.
I also don't think civilians at that time had an understanding of like guerrilla warfare of what you guys were dealing with, because I mean World War II, Korea,
it wasn't a battle.
Nope. Yeah, I guess the point I'm trying to make is
Vietnam was just a conflict,
right? But it's a lot harder to fight an insurgency instead of a conventional force. You know what I mean? Like when the enemy's all doing military stuff in military uniforms, that's one thing. But when it's an insurgency and it's people in plain clothing that are normal villagers one second, and then now they have AK-40, like that's a whole nother level of intricacy and problems that I don't think people grasped at the time. That made Vietnam way harder.
And yeah, it's a problem I think with a lot of soldiers, even today, when you had GWAT soldiers that didn't deploy or they didn't see combat, or just because they weren't infantry, you would see people talk down. And that's one thing I was very against. It's like, hey, they signed the dotted line just like you. And
they did their job just like you did your job.
Yeah, if they didn't get in a firefight or something, so what? Good. Like they should be happy. You should be happy for them. They didn't experience that, but don't diminish what they have accomplished.
Exactly.
Because it's a one big team, one team, one fight.
And it takes all of us working together doing our job to get the job done.
What was for that battle? What was one of the scariest moments in your mind? Like, was it during the crossing? I know during, like, I have had my moments where I can reflect and be like, well, that was the moment I thought, okay, I'm going to, this is it.
When I was on our side of the river and I looked over and seen 3 GIs in a foxhole and they were waving their hats at me, I knew I had to go get them. Now, I was already wounded, but I knew I just couldn't lay there in my foxhole and watch, because there was enemy was everywhere.
You said you were already wounded. Where
Yes,
were
sir.
you wounded at the time?
Well, right thigh, AK-47 round. I had, you know what beehive is?
Not off the top of my head.
Flechette round.
Oh, okay.
Artillery.
We both got
Oh,
shot.
you brought it?
We both got shot in the right thigh by AKs.
Actually, yeah.
Okay, that's one beehive round.
Dear God.
Now this one's gold, made out of my VA teeth. But this was, I had, how many of these?
You got to
did I
back
have
up
in
on
me?
that one. It's made out of gold.
30 of these in me.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You said that one's gold and made out of your VA teeth?
VA teeth, yes. Well, I had the
mad
original
drip.
one, which I still got the original that they dug out of me. But I thought, well, I want to wear it around my neck.
Can you tell the story of how you got the one they pulled out of you? Because that's a pretty interesting story in itself.
Well, at the moment, I don't remember. Refresh my memory. Seriously.
I think I believe you sent a bunch of them back home to your mother, and she kept them in a jewelry box.
Yes.
And then
wow.
You said that one of your brothers had acquired them from mom and sold them at school. And then later in life, one of his classmates gave it back to you, and that's how you got it back.
Oh my God.
That thing just kept finding you.
Your brother sold your shrapnel?
It was just shrapnel.
Just shrapnel.
Your brother sold it?
His words, yes.
It's a Snickers bar.
He was my little brother.
Did you beat his ass afterward?
No, he was my little brother.
Yo, my brothers.
He didn't understand the importance of what the shrapnel.
How old was he at the time?
Oh,
23.
I was going to say that's.
I believe that.
Dixie's on fire right now.
I was 23, so he was.
That deserves a butt whooping.
Are you getting your ass kicked?
John was 13.
He was young.
He was 10 years younger than me, so.
Old enough to start climbing trees and cutting them down. You were using a chainsaw at that age.
You're giving a lot of excuses. Man, so it's also just really crazy. You had all that plus the injury to your right thigh, and then you seen your brothers across the way.
I knew I
like,
had to go
gotta
get my brothers. And I asked the
You
one
said
above.
You thought everybody else was dead, and you were the only one left to do it.
Yeah, basically, yes. So I knew I had to do it, and I did. And when I got over there, I didn't know there were 3 men still living. And when I got over there were 3 men alive. Well, I knew I didn't have the strength to make 3 trips back and forth, so I had to carry all 3 of them at the same time and get in the river. And then that's that piece of air mattress that still held air. That's where I put them. And
how do you drag? Did you just drag each one to the shore at that time?
From their foxhole, yes, I just drug them over and then put them on the air mattress, and we slipped off into the river and made our way back and forth. Well, my guys that were still alive on my side of the river could see what I was doing, so they were taking the enemy. You know, they were helping me.
Covering fire.
And we made it across. I can remember the bullets hitting all around us in the water, you know. And I just kept thinking, well, my job isn't done yet. Well, my job isn't done yet. Well, my job isn't done yet. And I just kept doing my job, and thank you, sir. I made it.
He said, when you asked about being scared, he tried to carry all 3 at one time back to the riverbank, and he put one under each arm, put Jim Deister, who they thought was dead, across his shoulders.
Jim Deister was shot through the head, shot through the chest.
Gun that he had, one AK or whatever it was. And so to carry that, he strapped it around his head with that strap, and that's how they went. Well, Billy Ray had lost his leg.
Yeah.
And so he used, was it a stick or was there another long gun that he used as a crutch?
M14, as I remember.
The bad part, this is what would have scared me. That war was still going around.
Oh, yeah.
And when he would hear, they would come in waves, when he would hear a wave coming, you were pretty loud there, jungle, he would lay those guys down and try to pull as many leaves or whatever he could. By that time,
over them.
There was a lot of foliage down. And then he would lay down, face up on top of them with the gun. And if somebody, most of them ran over them. They didn't
physically ran right over us.
Focus is so on what your objective is, they would run right over them. Sam said if they recognized them for what they were, he was just faster with his rifle.
Well, I could see, because I was watching their eyes, and I could see, oh shit, that's a GI. And as they were going to shoot me, well,
there was one other really interesting.
And there was enough gunfire going. It wasn't.
Was it light out, dark out?
No, it was night, 2 o'clock in the morning.
So this is that helped with this, but also just
lots of flares.
My God.
Oh, just pitch black and like.
And you're just waiting there, like wide of their eyes, and they're like, "Please run over, but don't."
Well, there was enough gunfire going off that's how I could see the white of their eyes. You know, I could see they were looking at me or.
Which also just to have that frame of mind during that stressful situation where you're like, hey, I'm covering my guys. I I'm not firing unless I need to. So hopefully,
Well, I didn't
they
have
just
that
pass
much
out.
ammo, so I knew not to just.
That's
The other thing, what you mentioned, actually, Jim Deister told us this many years
Dixie,
later.
do you want to step up here?
Yes, please.
I just rather sit back here and
Oh.
tell you what to do.
The audio would be better if you were here.
No, absolutely.
get in there.
This was, I have to stop playing on my phone. Okay. Jim told us that there was a question at one time on whether Sam, well, this guy had
Sorry, he's
Keep you
closer.
this way, just so you're nice and beautiful in front.
Is my hair okay?
You look great.
That somebody, one other guy was trying to claim what Sam had done, and they all thought Jim was dead because he was shot through the ears, and then after the reason Sam brought him back, even though they thought he was dead, because they ran up and shot him, the enemy, before he got there.
was laying on the
ran up
ground.
and shot him in the chest. And then Sam was observing what else they were doing to our guys that were already dead. So he brought him back, and this was in an interview that Jim did in another publication. And he said they didn't know each other. The infantry didn't know. They were brought in as
seen
the support.
each other on a regular basis, but we didn't know each other.
So Jim was laying face up on that little piece of mattress, and everybody thought he was dead, and he said, in my mind, I was screaming, shut the damn lights off, somebody's gonna get killed here. And he thought he was already dead. And then he said, I looked up and I saw that red-headed kid. It's back when he had like hair with color.
Still was red-headed.
I saw that red-headed kid pushing me across that river. And their meeting was, Sam thought Jim was dead. You know, they didn't have that information back then, so he didn't even know he survived.
Looked dead.
The medic saw.
But I wasn't going to leave him because I'd seen what the enemy was doing to our dead over there. They were shooting, cutting them up, and
never leave a fallen brother.
No.
The medic saw a little bubble come out of his chest that next morning.
Where he'd been shot.
And he had a heartbeat of about 25 beats a minute.
Extremely slow, low.
He had a very, very long recovery, but Sam did not know that kid recovered. And he ended up working for the Kansas Department of Rehabilitation at the VA. When somebody walked in his room, they knew he knew what he was talking about.
Because you could see Jim been shot bad.
He almost looked like he had a stroke, like one side of his face is kind of pulled down.
Show off the mix on video. See, you guys watched it. Finn, play it back with me mixing it.
So it looks like purple drank, but what do you have there, Eli?
I have the longevity mix, and this stuff actually tastes really good.
What's the purpose of the longevity mix?
Longevity.
Why would anyone want to live longer?
I don't know.
Well, if having more life is something that's interesting to you, you should try Blueprint.
Now, with one scoop, what all do you get, and why am I drinking it? Because it comes with everything. Magnesium, glycerin, creatine, you name it, it's in it. And all in one scoop.
How does it taste?
There's no artificial sweeteners in this one.
Can I try it?
Yep.
No, it's a pretty flavorless, which for something like this is a good thing.
This is blood orange.
That's why it's pink.
It also helps with your mood, focus, sleep, cellular resilience, and healthy aging.
It's what Brian Johnson uses, which is why he looks so young.
If you don't know who Brian Johnson is, he's the guy that is trying to live to be 200.
He wants to live to the year 2140, which means that he wants to be in his prime during the year 2077 because he's a major cyberpunk fan.
And because it is just one scoop, you don't have to have all the pills and the bottles everywhere, and even creatine gone.
It's science-backed, precision-dosed, no bull.
And Blueprint is third-party tested, so they make sure none of the bad stuff's in there.
For a limited time only, our listeners will get 20% off and free shipping if they go to blueprint.brianjohnson.com using code UNSUB.
That's UNSUB at blueprint.brianjohnson.com.
But let's see, finding each other. some guy, Jim ended up not hearing. It just got worse and worse, and eventually lost his hearing completely. But a friend of his named Jim Cole would make his phone calls for him back in the 60s and 70s, because all that stuff wasn't invented yet. Did I offend you?
No. He has to use the restroom. The boys are holding it. They're like, oh. Yes, you offended him. Nick just left.
If you could offend him, I'd be impressed.
Yeah. Everyone in the audience would be like,
Anyway, this guy said his name was Jim Cole, and he was a friend of Jim Deister's. And he said Jim wanted to meet Sam, and Sam thought it was a prank. He said, I had no idea. You were going to be speaking in Kansas.
Yes.
And Jim was going to meet you at the hotel there. So he still thought it was a prank. He said, how could somebody do something that mean and that cruel, thinking that I had saved someone and they'd come back to life? Sam said he walked into the lobby, looked across the room, and he said, I knew that was my Jim Deister. Yep. They just ran to each other and just hugged and cried. And I'm sorry I wasn't there to see that, but
it was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. That started up a long friendship over many, many years. Another one was that mean old sergeant of yours, Sergeant Gant from Lansing, Michigan.
Yep.
This was at Kokomo. One of you guys mentioned Kokomo,
yes,
Indiana. They had that big reunion every year. Everybody was in on this except Sam. They had everybody stands out in this field, and he was on stage talking, and he said it was almost like the Red Sea parting. All the people just slowly split in the middle, and this little tiny black man came walking up that aisle.
Just casually walking up.
And he gets to the stage, and Sam looks down. He said, Sergeant Gant. And Sergeant Gant said, Sam. And he went running down. Sergeant Gant, were still in the front of the stage, but they just hugged each other and dropped to the ground, and they were hugging and crying. And
it was awesome.
Something like that would be just fantastic to witness, because Sam thought Sergeant Gant was the meanest old guy in the world, but Sergeant Gant saved his life. He knew what to teach them on cleaning that rifle.
That's what's crazy. He made you polish the bullets, the weapons,
yes.
and
everything.
This is before M16 was, when they shipped to Vietnam, they didn't even have, soldiers thought they were self-cleaning, and they would have a whole bunch of issues because they didn't know, clean them. They didn't even have a forward assist at that time. And Sergeant Gantz experienced that at the beginning of the war, correct?
Yep.
And so he made you guys do all the weapons maintenance.
Yes, we had to tear them apart and clean them, every little piece. You had to clean it, and he would come by and look at it, and if it wasn't totally sparkling clean, you had to do it again. And we thought, well, this old man's just messing with us.
26-year-old man, right?
Yeah, he was old.
That's a grandpa.
Yeah, grandpa.
The old hand.
Well, after a month or so, we got to realizing that, wow, Sergeant Gant knows what he's talking about, because our weapons were not jamming the way the infantry guys' weapons were jamming.
He made you do that blindfolded.
Yes. Well, after we knew how to do it, yes, we had to do it blindfolded. Had to tear the weapon apart.
Yeah, without having to do it, without knowing how to do it, that's just mean.
Yeah, that's what they thought. And then Sam told me later, he said, I had no clue why I would ever have to know how to clean a weapon blindfolded. He said, but then that night, because they were always in the swampy area, the Delta, and he said, that's when I knew why he made us do that. We couldn't see. We had to clean them like that. And so he saved us. Sam said, when I got to be the mean old sergeant, I at least explained why I was making them do that.
Oh, he actually got to tell you. He's like, hey, I had a reason behind it.
Yes. Well, he kind of let you learn it for yourself.
Yep.
Didn't he?
Well, and that was the best way. I didn't realize it at the time, but I really understood then.
You told me, you said, you thought he was making you do that because all the other sergeants went and drank somewhere together, and he didn't have anybody, so he just stayed and messed with you guys.
So you took back half the things you said about him.
Yeah.
It's crazy to have that knowledge for the M16 in that time, because they were notorious for just soldiers didn't know to clean them.
There were a lot of issues with their early adoption.
Yes, the early 16s were not one of the better weapons.
I have another story about the other guy saved. Gwendell Holloway, Stockton, California. This about a year and a half ago, we dedicated a brand new VA facility in French Camp, California, where he grew up.
Yep.
And the odd thing about that little town, it was 400 people back then. There were 3 Vietnam Medal of Honor recipients from that little town.
400 people. Wow. Population 400 people, and there were 3 Vietnam Medal of Honor recipients. We did not know each other. We knew, because there was just a few years difference in age, but we knew each other's brothers. And it wasn't until, many years later that we sat down and started talking. Well, yeah, I'm Bill's, oh yeah, I'm Bob's brother. Oh, wow, okay. And we did know each other, but we didn't know each other. You understand?
So anyway, we're dedicating this, and we were in one of these big giant tents outside. You know, we got treated better than everybody else, and they feel guilty. But we thought Gwendell had died. We could not find him.
Well, even the FBI, I asked the FBI to help me, and they said, no, we think he's dead.
So we're dedicating this and going through all the ceremony. Afterwards, we're all standing around talking. I thought Gwendell was like 8 feet tall from the way Sam described him, but this little short, another black gentleman came walking up to Sam. Sam looked over at me, his eyes were gigantic. He said, "It's Gwendell."
You were dedicating this to this man that was still alive, too?
Oh, no.
Oh,
this was
I was sorry, I missed.
Wouldn't that have been funny?
Is that his own funeral?
But he came to the event, and everybody, we thought he was dead. He hid on purpose. He said, I just didn't want to deal with it, so he just totally...
Well, he had prostate cancer, too.
Yes.
He said the VA took good care of him, but he just couldn't be around people for a long time. We went to American Legion afterward for a little reception, and we were all talking then and laughing and just having a great time. And I was standing next to Sam, and Gwendell, he had the other guy was a white guy.
Yep.
Same size, everything. They came up together, and the other guy took both of Sam's hands, and he said, I just wanted to thank you for saving my best friend since kindergarten. So
it was awesome.
We get some of those wonderful, wonderful stories that I hope other people get them too, to find out after all those years. So he had no family, had never married, had no children. So now I write to him like I'm his sister. And so we just check on him now. But he's doing much better. He's recovered. And so he's kind of getting back into life again.
That's awesome.
But, these guys, Agent Orange was so horrible. Sam still pays every single day for fighting in that war, and so many of them do. And now the list is so long. Even Parkinson's disease now is attributed to Agent Orange. And one of my old boyfriend from high school, Scott, he died from Parkinson's from Agent Orange. Big, solid football player, and just devastating what happens. The other thing, when you guys were talking earlier, when you were talking about people's attitudes back then, I think what a lot of people don't talk about is this was during the 60s and 70s. On TV, we didn't have the social media like they have now. So we was glued to our television sets every night to find out what was going on. We were talking today with Aubrey that we didn't have social media, so we didn't have someone telling us what to think. We had Walter Cronkite. He told it like it was. He didn't have to offer his opinion. I think he thought we were smart enough yet that we could figure it out from the actual truth. Most of our television time was taken up by hippies. That's what was on our TVs, not so much the war. There might be a little clip here and there, but it was what the hippies were doing, what their protesting was, how horrible the Vietnam vets were that actually were fighting their country and fighting these innocent people. Nothing about communism, nothing about the atrocities of war that was actually happening. It was just how bad these American soldiers were for what their country asked them to do. Back then we had the draft, and it was not unusual to be fighting against someone that had been in jail. A lot of it was, you can either go to Vietnam or you can go to jail. What's your choice? And most of the guys were good guys, though.
Yep.
Some were not, but I suppose that was the same on each side.
Of course.
We had one nice thing that happened to us. We were talking in Rockford, Illinois, probably 15 years ago, maybe.
At least, yeah.
There was this guy, his name is Don Andre. He was a teacher. And this was Rockford.
Yep.
And we went, my sister set that up because she still lives there. So Sam talked, and students always love it when he talks. They get so involved, and they're so smart, they ask such great questions. Well, this man was dressed in all black, and as an instructor, he had this big giant peace symbol around his neck on a chain.
Yep.
Afterward, he came up to Sam, and he took hold of Sam's hand, and he put that peace symbol in Sam's hand, and he said, "I was wrong."
And I could see in his eyes he meant what he said.
He said, "We were misinformed. And I just wanted to apologize. I want to give you this. I was wrong." A couple of years later, we took him with us to Washington, D.C., took him to the wall.
To the wall.
And it was so nice for him to be educated from a different point of view other than what he was learning from what the hippies, what the kids were doing at the time.
Yes.
Sam had carried that peace symbol in his Medal of Honor box since he got it.
And with the Medal of Honor.
And that day he took Don's hand and he said, "I want you to have this back." And Don said, "I was hoping I'd see that again someday." So a friend had made it for him. So he got it back. Got to know his son real well, and still do, but Don sadly passed away. And but he wrote to us quite often about how glad he was to know the truth. And then he spent all his time just telling American soldiers how proud he was. So it's there's a lot of good things that may not happen till a lot later. When people get a little bit more education.
That's how it goes. Sam, when you had, what was the link between the action and actually the ceremony for the Medal of Honor? Like, when did you find out, oh, I've been awarded this?
1 year.
1 year.
The action took place on November the 18th, 1967. I received the medal on November the 19th? 1968. 1 year, 1 day.
And then how was that event? That's the one where actually they put Tom Hanks.
Yes.
They actually have the footage and you were superimposed.
Yes.
Or his face was superimposed
Yes.
on you.
Yes. It was awesome. Unbelievably awesome. The other guys that received the medal, there were 5 of us that received the Medal of Honor that day. And those that were still left alive, well, just Gary and I now, isn't it?
No. Patterson from California, Northern California. Jim Taylor.
Taylor, not Patterson. There you
And
go.
one was the
Yes.
conscientious objector, I guess. He was a minister. He gave his back.
Yes, he did.
Litke. Wasn't his
Charles
last
Litke.
name Litke?
Charles Litke.
Yeah, he's the only one. He gave his medal back to the United States government.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Charles Litke.
Before you got awarded the medal, when you were in the hospital recovering, you said that you called General Westmoreland and you actually got a hold of him.
Yes.
How did you know him at first, or how did you first get to meet him? Because, like I said,
He came to the hospital in Japan
okay.
and handed me beehive that they took out of me.
So that's where you got the beehives.
That's where I got, yeah. And that's how I got to know General Westmoreland. And he was an awesome man. I loved him, and he saved my life.
He must be, because, like I said, all I do is research Medal of Honor winners and, men that have done things like you, and every time it's a Vietnam War hero, somehow or another, that guy pops up in the story every single time.
He took care of his veterans.
He played a big role in
Yes, sir.
Roy Benavidez' story too.
Oh, definitely. Yes, sir.
So it's just like he's just this character that pops up in every Vietnam story that I go through. So that was really
William
interesting
Childs
to see.
Westmoreland.
I don't know that.
Wife named Kitsy.
You want to hear how badass Sammy is? What'd you call Westmoreland for? What'd you tell him you wanted to do?
At the moment, I have a blank. I'm sorry.
You told him you wanted to go back to Vietnam.
Oh.
You didn't want to go home.
Okay,
I mean,
yes.
he's getting offered to go home. He says, I don't want to go home.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and be with my brothers. Yes.
What did he say?
Huh?
Yeah.
You let him do it.
Yeah.
He said you had to be able to walk to the general's office where you were from the hospital. Oh, this is a fiasco. Gwendell was at the same hospital recovering. Is this when you were in Japan?
Yes.
Okay. He had to, 3 days in a row, he had to walk down a flight or two of stairs, be able to walk to the general's office, clean his rifle, and then if you could do that 3 days in a row, he could go back to Vietnam. That was the rule. They didn't think he could do it. He was so beat up. And so then he and Gwendell had this great idea. Gwendell actually saved his life when he got to the hospital because
Yes.
this different story. There was no blood left. And they pushed him out in the hallway because they didn't think he was going to make it. He had too much blood loss. Gwendell said, you do a
You
direct
take the
diffusion.
blood out of here and put in him.
And he must have been pretty convincing. They
Well,
did
they
it.
knew he
They did a
meant
direct
what he said. Yes.
direct infusion from body to body. Saved his life.
Wait,
Shit.
Yes.
Did they mention that in the book?
No.
You got a direct. So that was.
Well, the thing of it is, later we found out that his blood type was not my blood type.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
Well, it worked. Or
Yeah,
whatever
you got
it is.
lucky.
Had to have been O negative then.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
God, that's insane because
Well-
again, as Nick says, your body, if you get the wrong blood, it's
Yeah, you're
very,
done.
very bad for
It
you.
quits.
It must have been good enough though, because or else you didn't have any of your own blood left, and that just
Well,
filled you up
I
with
was.
new.
I was
just
empty.
changing types.
Yeah.
Just-
Anyway,
You're now a diesel car.
So in the hospital, Gwendell said, well, my legs work, your back doesn't work, so why don't you hop on my back and I'll take you down the fire escape so they don't see us do this. I'll set you down in the right corridor, and then you could just walk over to the colonel's office. Well, they fell down the fire escape. That didn't go real well, so that took another day off, a couple more of recovery. But on the day that he actually did it, he got in the general's office. I think it was a colonel.
Colonel.
Anyway, he said, okay, Sam said, you can go ahead and call General Westmoreland now, which he did from his office, and he let Sam talk to him. And General Westmoreland said, well, son, I think this is a bad idea, but I'm going to let you do it. Because he knew how important it was to go back and touch survivors.
Yeah.
And to
go
talk
back
to
and
somebody
be with my
else that
what
had
saved
been
me.
at the same place. So he saved your life by doing that. But
Definitely.
then the only thing he could do was be a cook. He really couldn't do anything else.
That's where I learned to cook.
Well, his first job was slicing bread. That was pretty exciting, wasn't it?
Homemade bread. Yep. Well, that was all I could do.
Hey, back in it. And you went right back to Vietnam too.
Yes.
That's
where
The
I
hard
was
thing
slicing
was,
the bread was in
though-
Vietnam. They
No
made
doubt.
me a cook in Vietnam in my original unit.
And this is after the fact of everything that happened. Then you're
Yes.
But
The
a lot
guys-
of your guys were gone already.
Oh yeah. Most of the guys were the new guys, but they had heard stories.
Oh, bad.
And the fact that I was back slicing bread for them,
especially.
And they were told, if Davis wants to sit up and talk, you sit up and talk with him as long as he wants to talk.
They're like, nope, we're not going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Also, that's
Carry
got to
on.
be wild, just to be, getting chow from the chow hall, and your cook has a Medal of Honor dangling.
No, I didn't. That was before. The
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But that would have been funny.
Pending.
Pending.
Yeah.
Still. Wow.
Guys, I think Cook's a badass.
only a lot.
That's where he learned to make everything for 100 people. He made the kids eat grass soup one time.
My kids.
Yeah, because he wanted them. They ate everything. I mean, he did growing up, but you ate a lot of wildlife, and but you had to eat that grass soup. They didn't ever request that one again.
I love how you clarified. You're like, no, my kids. I would never do that to my soldiers, but my kids, yes, absolutely.
Back home.
Yes. Good one.
It's funny.
I don't think I have any more stories to tell.
Well, I got one more story, but I don't know if you want to tell it in front of your wife.
Uh-oh.
You've read the book, right?
I've got to read that again sometime.
But you've read it? You know everything in there?
I know what it. Sure, I know.
Well, we don't got to talk about it if you don't want to.
Oh no, I don't care.
But the funniest part of the book for me,
he didn't know me then.
was why you're still scared of pencils.
I think that's the funniest story ever. The nurse.
You're the nurse with the catheter during your recovery with the pencil.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, good. Tell it.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Nick, tell it.
I don't know if I want to tell it. We'll edit it out if you don't want it in. But you had said that during your recovery, obviously, you had a lot of drugs and everything going on, but you had to have a catheter put in, and there was a very attractive nurse that was coming in to put your catheter, and every time the nurse came in,
He'd have an erection.
he had an erection,
Okay.
and you can't give somebody with an erection a catheter, and she whacked it with a pencil to get rid of that problem, and then every time she came to show up and to change the catheter, she stuck the pencil behind her ear, and he never had that problem ever again, and he said still to this day he's a little bit leery of pencils.
He said, I have an unnatural fear of pencils.
It's, what is it?
So he's like, thank you for bringing that up. Why did I write that in my book?
It's number 2 type ED.
Type 2.
No wonder we just have pens in our house. I never thought of that. I didn't mean to make you spit. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no, that's very funny.
I love it.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad you joined us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love to tell stories on him. I bet I have more.
You got to brag on your man a little bit.
She is the reason why I'm alive today.
Yeah.
She gave me the reason to live. Seriously.
Actually, when did y'all meet?
Well, her husband was a Vietnam vet and played in a band. And his band played a lot of places that I would go speak. So we seen each other. We weren't friends, but I recognized her. That's Tim's wife. And see, Tim passed away first, and then my wife passed away, and I better give Dixie a call. She lived in Texas, I lived in Illinois. So I gave her a call. How you doing? And we started talking, and then a lot more phone calls, and then I thought, well, I need to go down and see Dixie. And I did.
That's not right.
No?
No, I knew it wouldn't get it right.
It was beautiful the way you told it, though.
I thought you were stalking me, actually.
That face, his face is like, oh, I went through war, and this hurt more than that.
Sliding in that mailbox.
After the pencil incident.
I just like being able to break Nick.
Sliding in the mailbox is diabolical.
We wrote to each other for quite a while, not even calling. But we wrote
In real letters.
You literally slid in the mailbox. It's
Then you asked me if I was going to Skidmore, Missouri. There's also a big reunion, used to be a big reunion there every year. And I said no. They were doing a dedication for Tim. And his singing partner still put up his microphone even after it had been 5 years after he had died.
Yeah.
It was just hard because they would do their music and it was hard to go listen. Finally, and the other reason was I was working 3 jobs because I had a lot of medical bills for him to pay. So I really couldn't have just afforded to do it. And finally, kind of kept nagging me, really, Sam. He finally said, well, okay, if I pay your way, will you go? And I said, okay. See how easy that was? So we re-met each other there after probably 15 years.
12.
They've both been sick for so long. So that's not where you want to re-meet each other with all the families there. All of our friends were there, both couples.
And everybody knew my wife, and everybody knew Dixie's husband.
Sam was on stage playing with the band, and there was this big grassy area out in front of the stage.
Yep.
And then all our friends were sitting around here in tents, and I was sitting with friends. Sam laid do you have guitar or harmonica then? I don't know what you were. But he laid it down. The band kept playing, and he walked across this great big field where nobody was out, and he bows. Who bows anymore?
He was nervous. He didn't.
I was paying my respect.
And he said, "Can I have this dance?" And I said, "No."
Just shot
Our
down.
friends were all doing, go do it. And then everybody started applauding, so I had to do it. So that was how we re-met each other after all that time. So a year later, we got married there on stage with all those same friends and family. And that was 21, almost 22 years ago.
See, it started with a little coercion, but it all worked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, you don't lose till you quit trying, right?
There you go.
That's right. You don't lose till you quit trying.
Persistence.
And I still haven't quit. A blues harp. Wow.
Better tell the story.
I learned how to play the harmonica in Vietnam.
No doubt.
My mother sent me a harmonica because she thought I was bored. She had written a letter to my captain because I had not been writing to her often enough that she knew that I was okay. So the captain came to me and said, "You will write home to your mother every day, at least 3 sentences every day." Well, you're in a combat situation. What do you write home to your mama about? Well, I wrote home to mama about we had ducks, wild ducks, but we had ducks everywhere because we were in the water all the time. And I wrote about what this little duck would do, and what this little duck would do, and what this little duck would say to that little duck. And 3 sentences every day, had to write a letter. Well, after a month of Mom getting a letter every day talking about ducks and birds and blah, 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 she thought, well, he must be really bored, so she sent me a harmonica. She said, son, I hope this helps you be not quite so bored. Well, I didn't know how to play it. I just put it in my pocket and went back to my foxhole, and one of my sergeants, Johnston Dunlap, he heard that my mom had sent me a harmonica, and he came over. He thought that I knew how to play, being she sent me a harmonica. He said, Sam, play it for me. Well, I didn't. Now, I've always been kind of musical, but I'd never really played. My daddy played the harmonica, so yes, I'd blowed on it. But Johnston Dunlap wanted me to play Shenandoah for him. That was his favorite song. That's where he was from. So I started picking it up. Now, we were artillery. It was okay that I would sit in my foxhole and play the harmonica. That was another cool thing about 2016 meeting with my former enemy. One of the first things they asked, do you still have it? Why? Your harmonica. How do
You guys were way too close.
Exactly.
Oh, stop, he's playing. It's so beautiful. Oh, my God.
And I said, well, yeah. They said, would you play it for us?
No.
So I played Shenandoah. Now imagine this come floating through the jungle at 2 o'clock in the morning. We were artillery, and I played it. What do you do when you're in a combat situation? Well, I played the harmonica.
Cool.
Now, if I were NBA, I would much rather hear that than Fortunate Son.
Well, that's sitting there at that table in Vietnam that day, and they asked me, well, do you still have it? You know, what you talking about? Your harmonica. And they went, your harmonica. And well, how do these people know about my harmonica? Well, they listened to me because I played it often, a lot, all night. It helped me be awake, and all the rest of the guys, in talking to my brothers, they knew that if they could hear me play the harmonica, that everything was okay, and that I was okay. So it gave them peace of heart, peace of mind when they could hear me play. I didn't play just Shenandoah, but that was their favorite song was Shenandoah, and I still play it for my brothers today, Shenandoah.
Was that a little bit scary when you realized how close they were? But you knew they were there, didn't you?
Well, kinda, but we didn't know for sure they were there until I talked to them in 2016, and they talked about conversations that they could hear us having. That's how close they were.
But yet they didn't speak English, they said. Yes.
Well, they actually spoke better English than I did.
Just hearing that, though, it would have been a moment when because it's like in a foxhole looking up, especially in Vietnam. You actually see all the stars if it's not storming.
Oh, definitely.
And that's just...
Yes, definitely.
It's kind of like when the guy in the urinal next to you says, nice watch.
Whoa.
I got it.
A little close for comfort.
God dang. Thank you for playing. Holy moly.
That was awesome.
That was something really cool.
Sam, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
thank
everything.
you.
Oh, before we close this out, you have Cudgel movie coming out, or they're working on it right now. So
they're
have
working
in the
on it.
works.
Yes, they're putting it together. Dixie, would you want to help talk about that? The Cudgel movie.
Okay. They're not filming yet.
No, they're not. But they're putting it together.
The fundraising part takes like a lot of time.
I had no idea how much money it took to create a film, and
Millions.
Todd and Nathan are working on it and doing the best they can.
It's written. It's kind of fun
Yes.
to read, and it's called, people can check at cudgelmovie.com.
Yes.
And there is a short doc, I'm learning Hollywood talk now, a documentary that it's called For My Brothers. And that has won several film awards.
Awards already.
What did we say that was called when you go around to these different...
It's like the film festival, yes.
Yeah.
And they won Best Director and Best Movie for veteran-related documentaries. And I guess it's kind of just something they do before they put together the actual movie. So we've seen that a few times. And so people, what they're finding is that a lot of the support is coming from grassroots, that regular people are donating to this because movies, it'll be about how Sam earned the Medal of Honor, but the perspective will be from how the soldiers cared for each other.
Cudgel.com.
CUDGELMOVIE. So cudgelmovie.com for it. And then Sammy's going to send an actual Medal of Honor coin for anyone that donates.
Yes.
His face is like, am I? Well, that's a lot. This audience will get out of control.
To have more coins made.
Yeah, this audience will get out of control fast.
Cudgel is the name of the fire base where he earned the Medal of Honor.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where that name comes from.
Firebase Cudgel.
So it's kind of like the outpost.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
So, man, and then they can go to cudgelmovie.com in order to and then donate to
Appreciate
help
it. Yes, sir.
grassroots this movie, because as you said, movies cost, a lot of people don't realize, millions of dollars, and that's on the low end. They get up to $100 to $500 million.
I know.
really
It's
quick.
amazing.
Especially a story like this that you want to tell right.
Exactly. And if they're in control, that means the world, because they can tell it properly without anyone ruining it.
Exactly.
Well, who did you say you want to play you?
Denzel Washington.
Oh, Denzel.
As you were saying,
The
Brandon.
Cudgel movie, brought to you by Netflix.
No one's gonna. If Sam's like, I want Denzel Washington to play me, it's like, okay, we're fine with that. This is a-okay.
We're gonna have to donate more. He's expensive.
Yeah, we're gonna make this happen.
The Viet Cong ain't got nothing on me. That's him.
Dude, Training Day 2 looks awesome.
And then, Sammy, where can the people find you for if they're looking for any information on you or even this movie? Do you have any social media, or is there any good outreach?
Yeah, we don't.
Nothing.
Everybody finds us anyway. We're everywhere. You can just pull up his name on YouTube.
If you want to find me, go to the Medal of Honor website.
Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Dixie, Sam, you guys are amazing humans. Thank you for everything you've done for the country, for us, for veterans.
Well, thank y'all.
No, this has been an honor for us.
If all of us do
awesome.
our job, the job gets done, right?
Absolute pleasure. Do you have any words of wisdom for the young individuals out there or veterans that might just be...
You don't lose until you quit trying.
Amen.
That is the secret to life. No matter what you're faced with, you don't lose until you quit trying.
Amen. Cody, you want to close us out, brother?
Thank you guys for joining the Unsubscribed podcast. I was joined today by Eli Doubletap, Nick the Fat Electrician, Sammy Davis, Brandon Herrera, myself, Donut Operator, and Dixie, of course. Thank you for being here today.
We love you.